Okay, here we go again. And again and again. This is the third food dehydrator that I have ordered. The first one came from military exchange. It was broken. Took it about 2 weeks to get here, which was pretty unusual for them. But the grates in it were broken, and it was packed. It looked like it was packed well, but the heater element down the bottom had a couple. It was held on by wires, and those wires were out of their little places, and it looked like it had been bounced around and everything else. So sent it back, and I ordered another one through Amazon, and it was I can't even pronounce the name. It looked like it'd be nice, but got it here, and the LEDs would not light up or anything. So it was broken, and I had to send it back, and it was a nightmare. Oh, what a nightmare! Because um, I decided I would change it and have them send me the same brand and just exchange it. And so they sent me a packing slip and everything. And I went up because it had to be returned by May 1st. And I went up there to the UPS store, and they all know my name. I've sent a bunch of stuff back. Because if it don't work, you're getting it back. Bottom line. And I'm leaving a review for you. And because I also got a surge protector. It didn't work, and when I opened it up, I thought, well, maybe it got tripped on the way here. And then I started looking for a reset button. Who the heck makes a surge protector without a reset button on it? That company did. And so there was no reset button. It just wouldn't work, so I sent it back. But anyway, getting back to the other one, second food dehydrator. Uh, I went and dropped it off, and she gave me a receipt for it. And I was joking. I says, I need to put a desk up here so I could just record what works and what doesn't work, and then I don't have to drive up here. And I actually told people I'm gonna start charging for gas and printer ink if I'm having to do all this. I was pretty mad. I mean, second one. So this is the third one. But anyway, when I got home, I says, I don't want the same kind, the same brand, because I don't trust it. Like they say, initial, what is it? Initial, how's that go? Your first appearance is always what they judge you on, and that second one, no. So anyway, they, I haven't got my money back for my second one yet. Probably because when I got home, all the way back home, I started thinking I don't want the same kind. So what I did is I hit a cancel, but they will not let you reship it again after you hit cancel. I mean, it's like you get one time shot and that's it. So I had to call in. After I hit cancel, I said, "Man, I canceled the whole thing, I think." And so there's no way to reset it and change your mind on there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I ended up thinking about it, and I called Amazon, and I got hold of a really nice lady um, from the Philippines. But I started explaining to her, and then she must have been doing it for a while because she knew exactly what I'd done. So it's all correct now. But unfortunately, it's not like it was the other way where once it gets shipped, within 4 hours you get your money back. Now I have to wait until the company gets it back and everything. So it's better just to, you know, say that you want your money back instead of an exchange. You know. Anyway, we're gonna hook this up. This is the third one, and it was We're going to see if it works. Like I say, third time's the charm. And if it doesn't work, I'm not going to be nice. The guy at the exchange, he told me it was all this money coming in from the COVID, or whatever you want to call it, what's that called, the stimulus checks. People are going crazy. Corporations are getting, people are just ordering stuff like crazy. And I'm always ordering stuff. I think this is, I'm not sure, but I think this is one part that you use either for the top, or it actually goes to where you pour, what do you call it? Pureed fruit. And then you get dehydrated and you get like a fruit roll up or whatever you want to call it. Nope, I guess that wasn't. Because I think I found the one for the fruit roll up. And that is this one. Hey, now this is pretty cool. I'll give you two of them. For a while I was thinking, well, that's pretty neat. They got smart and they embedded it in plastic so you would always have your instructions. I think that's an idea worth pursuing. Anyway, it comes with your instructions. One tray. I've already seen the box. Let's put the box down somewhere else. I guess these are the ones for roll-ups and stuff. I don't know. I'm gonna have to read up on the directions. Here's another tray, and another tray, and another tray, and yet another tray, and yet another tray, and this is how the bottom is. So you can wire it, put your cord up. Okay, people. Caps off of the plug. Now then, it says start. Oh, guess what? I don't know if y'all can see this. Okay, hopefully y'all can see this. It's actually got power to it. And it has temperature, timing. You set it for a certain temperature and set it for a certain time, and it'll shut off once it's done automatically. Go figure. This one costs a little bit more, but there's a fan. There's the time and the temperature. So you set your temperature by that, and then hit I'm not sure if it's right for the time yet. It is a little louder than the other one that I had when I was still married that my ex got. And she claims she didn't have it. She doesn't have it. But yeah, I know she does. Because my son came over with fresh beef jerky one time. Look what Mom made. Did she make it on the outside grill or something? He goes, no, she made it in that machine you used to use. So yeah, kids, when they're real young, they don't lie. But we're not going to dwell on that. Anyway, you can buy more trays. What I'm interested in, take this one off. Let it go on there, I guess. Of course, I'm going to have to read the directions. Let's see. Okay, it's got a little part here on the top that tells you herbs, spices, and seeds, 95 degrees. Vegetables, 125. Fruits, 135. Jerky, meats, and fish, 160. And it doesn't tell, I'm sure it tells in the instructions for how long. So I will check out the instructions. I have to watch that anyway. Watch all the little things. And then we can make some jerky. I guess it takes, the one I had at the other house, it was about the same size, the one that my ex got, but it was so quiet. But then again, it took about a day for jerky to be done. And from what I understand, this one, it's anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. So, and I've still got my own recipe. Okay, so one that I've got on top now is a see-through cover. That's the see-through cover. Then we have this one that does not have any handles. It is a tray without handles. Y'all got that? Keep that in mind, or maybe it's this. And then there's a 1, 2, 3 with handles. They are already get fed up because there's 3 with handles. And it looks like maybe 3 with handles. Okay. And then you have 1, 2 without handles. But I actually got 3. And your non-stick mesh screens, how to use the digital control. Press time and temp button, and temperature to be displayed window will begin to flash. If time flashes, press the time temp button again. So let's try to reset it. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. It doesn't say to do this, I'm just doing it. Okay. Now it's got the, I guess it's the time. Yep. Okay, so that's how you set the time. You have to do the time right when you plug it in. And then you go your temperature, and then you hit your on. It does work. And I'm going to see Yeah, see, you can use it on apples, apricots, bananas, blueberries, cherries, cranberries, figs, grapes, kiwi, nectarines, peaches, pears, pineapple, plums, prunes, rhubarb, and strawberries. On the vegetables, you can use aspergrass, asparagus, and beans, green beans, beets, broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, celery, corn. It even says corn cut too. Mushrooms, onions, peas, peppers and pimentos, potatoes, summer squash and zucchini, and maters. I'd have to wait till summer and pick some maters, taters, baters, and teeth. So it doesn't really tell you but it's got the add-on nesting trays and all that stuff that you can put in there, and a food jerky gun. That just don't sound right. You're using ground beef or ground turkey or ground pork in a gun and squirt. I don't know. Non-stick mesh screens, you can order those, which I already have. This comes with pretty much everything, and it works. What I was saying, go figure, the other ones actually were more elaborate looking. The ones that didn't work, they look pretty good, but they weren't. They didn't work. That was kind of upsetting. So don't buy one just because of looks, because I mean they were fancy and brushed aluminum and all this stuff, and I waited so long for the first one to come in, and it didn't work. It was broke, and that was a disappointment. I ordered another one from Amazon. That one came in, and it didn't work. Where the LEDs were, you couldn't see anything. You could see around it where it was lighting up, but you couldn't see any LEDs. And I tried everything. It didn't have any. I even looked on the internet to see if there's any type of way, maybe maybe I was, you probably don't remember, but the old watches, digital watches, when they came out, you could push two buttons and it would brighten them up or then dim them. And a lot of your cell phones do the same thing. And I was looking how to brighten up the LEDs, and there was no instructions, and there was no instructions on the internet. So I ended up having to send it back. I don't even know if it worked. The first one from the military exchange, the element was bent, so I didn't even plug it in. I said no, because it had like these two prongs going around the element. That's the element. It had two prongs going around the element, and then down into the plastic. But there was two of them that were off. It had more than two, but there were two that was off, and it left it probably about a good 6 to 8 inches. So it was free to bang around, and I'm assuming that's what happened, because some of the cardboard looked like it had gotten wet, and you could see the corrugation in it. I guess that's what you call it. So that was not good. And it was bent too. I mean, it was literally bent, which tells me that it took a hard bang somewhere. And which, that's, I didn't even look to see where it came from. But, people, if they don't take care of these things, boxes, and just throw them around, they're going to come broken. So anyway, third time's a charm, and it actually was, and this worked. And I'm going to get these grates cleaned up, and we should be making jerky, and we'll see how long it takes. And I'll use my old recipe, which I have in my head, that everybody likes, so it'll be the best jerky you ever tasted. I guarantee. I love that. And then you'll have the recipe also. And it's another thing you don't do. You don't start and just want to get it done in like 30 minutes or less, because you got to marinate it in the refrigerator for about 4 hours, or anywhere from 4 to 24 hours. You want the marinade juice to soak in and get in the meat. And we're going to use beef. And as a matter of fact, I think my beef might be ready, and you guys will get to watch right now, because it should be ready. And seeing how I don't have a meat slicer, I'm going to use my electric knife. Kind of glad I looked at the clock, because what I've done is I've got my I've got the meat in the freezer getting chilled. Hey. And I'm going to have to switch batteries, but you can use any kind of meat. This is a boneless choice beef eye of round. Okay, so I'm going to switch batteries real quick, and we'll get back to you in just a moment. Okay, back at you. Let us see. Uh-oh. We're going to unplug that and get these put in really good so they don't come loose. Okay, we're back. I charged the camera battery, but I did not charge the microphone battery, so I had to stop to do that. Okay, while that was going on, I got rid of all the fat, or as most as I could. And I'll tell you now, fat is only good for hamburgers and steak for flavoring. You don't want it on beef jerky if you can help it, because it will it'll get rancid and cause your jerky to go bad really fast. So anyway, if y'all can see how this is going, I put it in the freezer. It's pretty solid, but you know, the grain's going up and down, and we're going to cut across the grain, okay? Wash my hands again. You know, when I got out of nursing, I thought that wouldn't be washing my hands as much. Wrong. I was in a habit, you know. There's nothing you can do about that. Because I mean to tell you, I've washed my hands so much on the edges of the thumbs, they start to split and crack. I got a baggie here, and I need a bowl. Come on there, you. Okay, the bowl is so I can mix up the marinade when I'm done here. And I'm going to put the meat in the baggie after I cut it up, you know, and then I'm going to put the marinade that I make into the bag. And I'm going to try some couple of new flavorings too. Some Cajun flavorings, make it a little bit spicier. And anyway, if you don't have a big knife or a slicer, by all means, use what you use on Thanksgiving, an electric knife. Why have this thing sit around not doing anything when you could be using it, you know? You're going to cut it in about 1/4 inch thick, 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick. Spin this around. I just find with an electric knife you can guide it so much better than if you're sitting there sawing with a. I mean, I've got some real sharp knives, but don't get me wrong. But this just makes it go so much faster. And if you want to, you can ask your butcher to do it, and he'll be happy to do it, he or she. You know, that's... And most places won't charge you for doing it. But there was a reason that I got the whole roast like this. And the reason was I didn't know when the dehydrators were going to come in. And of course, as you see, 3 of them came in, 2 of them didn't work, so yeah, I put the roast in the freezer. If it would have been already sliced, it probably would be dry after taking it out of the freezer. So that was my thoughts on that. But as you can see, and what I'm going to do, yeah, you see that? And there's a reason you cut across the grain with jerky. If you cut with the grain, then you're going to have tough jerky. So you want to cut across the grain. I don't know, maybe you want tough jerky. You know, maybe you got a dog teething at home. Give him some jerky. Or baby teething at home. Give him some tough jerky. That's what I did with my son. And he would chew on that turkey for a long time. And his teeth came right in. Now those pieces are okay there. But as you can see, how fast, with short order, this electric knife made. Now if you get something that thick, you're probably going to want to shave it down some. And the good thing is, while you're shaving it down, all those parts can be used in your jerky. And guess what? I am totally done with the cutting. I mean, I've taken all the fat off, and I've cut it to the size that I want it. like I say, wash my hands again and again and again. You know, because one thing that I remember my grandmother going to a doctor once, and he came in, and you know, usually doctors have really clean fingernails and stuff, and I don't know, this guy may have had a flat on his way to work, or who knows. My grandmother's like, I don't like him, he had dirty hands. So, yeah. Okay, when you marinate this, you do not want any oil in it, because oil is the same thing as fat. So we're going to put some teriyaki, a couple of tablespoons worth, some soy sauce, the same, couple of tablespoons worth, and if, I think we do, maybe lucky, this is liquid smoke. It's going to give it that smoky flavor. I'm going to use all of that, and it was probably a good tablespoon's worth. I'm going to leave the bottle out because that'll remind me to go get some new one next time in the store. For those who can't use a grill because of property management or whatever, that's what happened to me. Okay, so we don't need salt at all because it's got that, but we're going to add some pepper. About 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons worth of pepper. Because you want it hot. You don't believe that's 2 teaspoons, do you? Okay, let's see. That's 1 teaspoon. And this is going to be the 2nd teaspoon to show you that I'm not joking. Ooh, yeah. Get a little bit more. Okay, so there's 2 teaspoons. Ooh wee, yeah, buddy. You know, I had some of these things for the longest time. I still got some, but they weren't sealed right. When I say sealed right, I mean I'll show you real quick. They actually had no seal on them. So when I went to wash these, I goofed up and washed them with the ingredients in it, salt and pepper and the pasta and everything, and that was not good. So you want those that are sealed. We're going to put about a teaspoon also of garlic powder. And it doesn't matter what kind of garlic powder, what brand. A teaspoonful. And if I'm lucky, which I am sometimes, I'm going to put about a teaspoon and a half of red pepper. Yes, because I like it spicy. We're going to try some of Juice Stone's How Y'all Are. I'm so happy for y'all to see me today. I used to watch that guy. I learned a lot. This is some Cajun seasoning. Yeah, remember, I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of it. This Cajun is hot. And I have some more spice that's Kingsford Cajun. Put about a teaspoon of it in there to try it. And here I go. Hey, 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 hey. Now we want a little onion powder. About 2 teaspoons. Now then, your choice is if you want it real sweet, you can double what I put in, and I don't want it real sweet because I got hit by my doctor. Man, they can tell everything with the blood tests these days. She says, "You've been over with your granddaughter." I says, "How'd you know?" She says, "Because your blood sugar was up." And see, every time I go to see her, we always have food and everything, and there's usually desserts. So I'm going to use, you can use either one of these. You can use honey, which I'm going to use, or you can use brown sugar. But seeing how it's a jerky, I'm not going to put a whole lot in there. I'm probably using a tablespoon, maybe, of honey. Now I think we're ready to mix it up. Can't think of anything else that I've used. Oh yeah. Ooh. I want to put some black peppercorns in there. And these will come off, okay? After you see marinating them, it'll just give it flavor. Now let's see. Let me use the whisk. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to put all this meat in this bag. We can pour the juice to marinate it with in the bag. You get out a lot of the air from it. Now I think I'm going to put another baggie on top of this you know, just thinking of Justin Wilson. He used to say he was a safety man, and he had those big red suspenders. So in that case, I'm going to double bag it. I know someone's going to say something about saying double bag it, but no, don't do it. This is family friendly. And the reason that I've got it in the bag is so I can mush it around. And every few hours when I walk by the refrigerator, I can mush it around. Now I've tried beer with this, and it worked, but I didn't quite care for the flavor. It left a kind of a bitter flavor. So, seeing how this side has all the stuff and this side doesn't have a lot of the mixture, we're going to put it in the refrigerator for probably a good 24 hours. And that should give me time enough to wash the dehydrator. It doesn't take me that long, but yeah. And then I'll show you what to do after that. And we'll get busy making some beef jerky. And if you got any questions, I mean, I've been using this recipe, except for the addition of the Justin Wilson Cajun seasoning original. That's an addition I haven't used before, and nor have I used the Kingsford Cajun style seasoning either. But everything else I used before. And I didn't use any slap your mama. I should. It won't hurt anything. Think I should do that? Why don't we do that? I've got a fresh can of it, and it's got the I believe it's Cajun seasoned too. I believe that's McElhinney peppers it's showing on there. I would have to research that and find out. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of it too, okay? Now don't worry and think, oh man, that's going to be way too hot, because it's really not. You're going to rake, when you take the jerky out of the marination thing, you're going to rake it off. You're not going to wash it off, but you're just going to rake it off, because with the addition of the honey, it's going to stick to that to your meat. But it's not going to be as hot as you're thinking it's going to be. Now, if you want something really hot, I went to the Asian store the other day, and they're selling some dragon salt, and I forgot what kind of peppers this has, but man, hoo-wee! I tried that with red eggs. Have y'all seen red eggs? If you haven't seen red eggs, it's they're like a boiled egg. You don't have to keep them refrigerated. They're like a boiled egg, but they've never been washed or anything or treated, so they don't have to stay in the refrigerator. And a little bit salty, not real salty, but they have a little bit of salt, not much. But those good with that dragon salt. Oh my gosh, but that dragon salt will fire you up. I got a little bit too much extra on one side of an egg, and not as bad as I ate some peppers down in Panama one time. We were going through the jungle operations training, and the guy training us says, "Who likes hot stuff?" And of course, my idiot hand went straight up, and he says, "Take a bite of my little pepper." And the pepper, little bitty, about like that, and it was real thin. Man, I might as well pour battery acid in my mouth. Whew, that was hot. But I had to look tough, and you know, the guy was like, he kept talking, and he kept looking over at me, and I'm just sitting there with this smile on my face, and he kept talking, looking over at me, and talking and looking over at me, and because he knew that it was burning, and I just wasn't saying anything. I was just trying to hold it in. Okay, but we're done right now for 24 hours. That's all we can do. Which tomorrow at about noon or 1 or whatever, we can pull this out and throw it on the dehydrator. And, this is like, I guess, a powerful dehydrator. And it's not like the one that's real quiet like I had at my other place. So I'm going to have to actually read some directions. And smoking it, if you put it on a grill, you don't want, I've done it on the grill too. And it works really good, but it's quick. And you don't want direct smoke hitting it, because if you ever smoke anything, one of the big deals when you smoke something is like the ribs. You'll see the bark and the ring around it. And jerky just becomes all bark and all ring. So you don't want any direct smoke on it or anything, and hickory works best. Some people use apple, and some people use pecans, and some people use mesquite. I'm from Arkansas. So when you use hickory I was just used to it. When I grew up, we had a huge hickory tree in the backyard. My dad would go out there, and he would get the limbs and the and hickory nuts, and don't throw whole hickory nuts on your grill. Smash them first. If you put the whole thing on there, they're liable to explode. Because we used to, as kids, Dad would smash them and put them on the grill, and as kids, he would turn his back, and we'd go get a couple of old ones and throw on there, and all of a sudden, pow! And we'd be laughing. He knew we were doing it, but he'd laugh too, but he'd kind of shake his head. Okay, so we're done for now, and we'll get back to you tomorrow and set this up. And also, I'm going to do, hopefully today and tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to make some Filipino lumpia, how I learned to make it. And if you ever go to a party that has Filipinos there, you're going to get lumpia. It's almost guaranteed. It's like they have it as a street food, and it's a party food, and it's not difficult to make, not at all. It's just having confidence and doing it yourself. And I'll tell you some funny stories about first time we made it. But yeah, I've got it. I mean, you're going to need carrots, onions, celery. You can have green onions or not, doesn't matter. And some people put cabbage in it, and beef and pork. And some people will say beef or pork. And I put both. I put beef and pork. That way it satisfies everybody. If someone says, "Oh, I prefer beef," hand them some of my lumpia. "Well, I prefer pork." I'll hand them some of my lumpia. Well, how do you tell the difference? Eat it. You can't tell the difference. It's, because when you're in the Philippines, I'm not joking about this. Uh, I was married to a Filipina, and her family's from Cavite City, and those people, they don't have a lot of means as far as buying power. So they used what they could get, and if they opened their refrigerator and they were going to make lumpia for a party, but they didn't have quite enough beef or quite enough pork, but they had beef and pork, and if they mixed it together for the party, they would have enough lumpia for everybody, and they would mix it together. It always seemed to work that way. So, I mean, they were not making a whole lot of money back then. I think a case of San Miguel beer and a big bucket of steamed clams. Uh, I gave my little nephew 20 pesos, and he brought me back change. Okay, and pesos were it was 8 pesos to $1 back then. So you can do the math. It didn't cost very much for a case of San Miguel. I'm talking a case, not a 6-pack, a case, and a big bucket of steamed clams. And he brought me back change. So it was under 20 pesos. Um, so you're talking a couple of dollars is all. And yeah, they do with what they can over there. Um, they make some delicious food. And like I say, if they don't have enough pork, or they don't have enough beef, well, they mix the pork and the beef. And then you got enough to make what they wanted to make. That's just a tidbit. And I watched it happen over and over and over. And because if you're married to a Filipino, guess what? You're going to end up helping make lumpia. And I couldn't tell you, she and I were married for 17 years. And in that 17 years, I don't know how many lumpias I made. There's no way I could count. I at least made about 1,000 a year. I'm not joking. And because, the Filipinos, they got a grapevine better than Ma Bell. If if there's one Filipina that just moves to a town, they all know within a day or two. Hey, we got a new friend. We got a new Filipino, and they would friend them. And so they ended up going to all of these parties, and it was kind of interesting because you had people from Cebu, um, and they would make their lumpia, and you had some that were negritos, and they made their lumpia, and there's like 900 different dialects over in the Philippines, and all these little islands, and they all make it a little bit different. And I've tasted it all. I like it all, but that's why it was really cool, because if you're going to a party and like she was Cavantania, we would make her lumpia or egg roll, whatever you want to call it, and take it, and so you had a taste of the different lumpias. You knew who made it and everything, and um, it was awesome. But you can make a ton of lumpia. I say 1,000. We would make because we cut the lumpia wrappers. They're come in a square, and you cut it in a diagonal. And some people use the whole square, which you're getting a whole lot of crispy wrapper if you do that, and it's not. I just don't like it in the way that they did it in Cavite City was they cut it in a diagonal, and I'll show you how to do that. And I mean, even go on a slow motion and show you how to put the meat in, the ingredients, and roll it and everything. And it's not going to take that long, and you're going to be going, oh man. And I know that my family back in Tucson, they're going to love me for it because they were under the impression that only my ex-wife could make it, you know. And but like I say, I made over 1,000 a year for 17 years, so I think I can. And I've made it before, so yeah. But they never had the ingredients. One relative asked for the ingredients. I gave it to her, and she made it, and she goes, "Oh, that's good." And then I think someone tossed threw away the ingredients, when they were cleaning up. And so, yeah, they kind of bugged me a few times, and then they quit bugging me about it. So now that I'm got this my own channel, I'm gonna make it for you and show everyone how to do it. And and if you got different ways of making lumpia, go down in the comments and put it in the comments. And I'm open for that. We'll try it all. Okay. I'll get back to y'all tomorrow after 24 hours, and after I clean the trays for this food dehydrator, and I'll show you where we go from there. And then we'll get back. This is going to be pieced together, like I said, because it's nothing you do right away. You got to marinate it for a while, and then take it off, and you're going to pull it down and strip it down, kind of take all the seasoning off of it, but it's in the meat, so you'll see. Okay, y'all have a good day. Stay safe. If you're in a warm place, go to the beach or swimming. If you're in a cold place, stay warm and enjoy your day is the bottom line. I love y'all. Have a good one. Okay, we're back. And the meat. The meat has been in the refrigerator, and I've turned it every few hours. And it's time to make it jerky. Well, it's going to have a little bit of fat, but not much you can do about that. See, like I said, those peppers are going to fall off. You don't have to worry about them being too. You don't have to worry about anybody getting a big mouthful of pepper. What a day. I have busted tail today. Literally. I've gone from making lumpia for you guys to making beef jerky. So it's kind of specific on how it says to do this. And it says turn it on 160 for 4 to 8 hours. You know, it already looks like beef jerky, if I say so myself. And I hope y'all learned something from the me using the electric knife. I mean, I've used it for a few things. Like I said, why have something sitting around the house you're only going to use once a year? Why not put it to use more than that? You got a car sitting around your house. And only used it once a year. You think the car would be any good? I don't. I mean, yeah, electric knife is a little bit different. We're going to lay this out. And turn it on and give it 4 to 8 hours, like it said. It is a little bit noisy, like I said. I'm hoping it won't disturb the neighbors. I don't think it will. At least it doesn't sound like a garbage disposal going off. But it in fact does have some sound. And I am wearing my black gloves because I put all those Cajun spices in there. And they're done. Tell y'all something funny about this. It's the third food dehydrator. I kept having to send the other ones back. And I kept having to refreeze my meat. I did. I'm gonna put this one on. Drop that. That one there. Okay. Okay, let's soap and spray. Okay, time, we're going to go for Let's say it had to be 160. Four hours. Had me worried there. Okay. Here we go. I don't think that'll wake up the neighbors. And we will see y'all back in about 4 hours to see how it's done. Well, I smell it. It smells good so far. And some good. I ordered some more liquid smoke. Found out I can buy a quart and a gallon of it cheaper than the little bottles I was getting at the grocery store. I'm serious. Well, that's on how it's supposed to be. It's in there, so we'll see what happens. That liquid smoke's some good stuff, especially when you have some management company that takes over some apartments and thinks they're going to be big stuff, and tell you can't have a barbecue grill here, and if you do, it's got to be so many feet from your house and all that. And then she doesn't even check out the people she's letting move in, who ended up having a pit bull they were training to fight. So yeah, that's what happens when you get a big shot management company that thinks they're tough, and they ended up getting fired anyway. And people who had the pit bulls and stuff, they got booted out, and the place was looking for them anyway. So hey, 'twas not me. The pit bull killed my son's little Pomeranian. So yeah, and the management company, the lady tried to
argue with me and say that the pit bull was a Chesapeake Bay Retriever. I said, that was not the Chesapeake Bay Retriever. And she says, well, I raise dogs, blah, 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 blah. And I says, well, the only thing that those people had done correctly was they had the dog vaccinated, and the vet states it is a pit bull. I says, now you're going to say you know more than a vet? And anyway, it cost me $600 and something, but I'm not going to dwell on that. That was probably 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And, you know, that company's still getting bad reviews on Google. That's what happens. If you're good at something, people give you good reviews. If you're bad at something, people give you bad reviews. And this lady, she had bad reviews. She thought she was tough. I never did. I never actually ever saw her. So that tells you what kind of property management company she was. Anyway, yeah, that's I could probably do this on the grill now. But when you do this on the grill, you want it at about 160 or so, and indirect smoke, because it gets too smoky. You've heard of the bark, which is when someone puts in a big thing of meat and smokes it for a long time. It gets a bark around it, and the rings are when the meat actually absorbs the smoke and it goes in and makes rings. And yeah, that's good for a big piece of meat. But you doing jerky, you can't do that because it ends up like you might as well be eating a burnt piece of wood. So yeah, I've done it before off of a grill, and anyway, so I'm happy with this. This is the Presto. Just remember that. This is the Presto. My other one was a foreign name, and I forgot the other one's name too. That's one thing I hate to put things down, you know. Even if I'm doing a review, I hate to put things down, even if they're not good. If they're not good, I just prefer, like I said, I didn't even mention the management company. I didn't mention their names. It's not that I'm afraid that I'll get sued, because I'll file a countersuit. But you know, and like the rice cookers. Now I've named both of the rice cookers, and the larger rice cooker, I gave them the benefit of the doubt because it was the Chinese New Year, and they still never got back in touch with me. And by the time that was done, it was too late to send it back. And if you look back on my videos, you can see I name it. And so it's the larger one, and it's no good. I would not recommend it to anyone. I forgot the name of it. But anyway, it's got 3 hours and 52 minutes to go. And I think the reason it was so noisy yesterday is because I just turned it on without taking everything apart and washing it. And that was another thing that's cool. I remember when I washed this yesterday, I'm sitting there drying it off and everything, and I'm thinking, what happens if it's not dry by the time, I mean, I am in Arizona, and things do dry out within 24 hours. But I thought, what if everything's not dry by the time it comes to using this? And I thought, wait a minute, it's a dehydrator. Dehydrate means dehydrate. So I put all the thing after I washed it, and and rinsed it off real good. I put all the things together and turned it on. And guess what it did? It dehydrated them. So if you got a dehydrator, you can wash it and then put it together and turn it on, and it'll dry it'll dry itself. Just a little tip, to have fun. I mean, I think of things that are crazy some people would never think of. That's like, it's just the way I am. My brain, I don't know. Sometimes I can't sleep at night. My brain's still going. And sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and think of something, and I'll be like, yeah. And then I'll think of it the rest of the night until I accomplish or do what I thought of. And hopefully this is about, I forgot how big of a chunk of meat that was. It was a roast. And then y'all saw me, I took off all the fat and everything. And after taking off all the fat, then I sliced it up and marinated it 24 hours. And now I've got it in this, and I think it was maybe a 3-pound roast. I don't really want to dig in the trash, but I'm pretty sure it was. And we'll see how many pounds this has when it's done. I mean, I'm sure it's going to get rid of all the liquid, because that's what it does. It dehydrates. It's like if you don't drink enough water, you dehydrate. I remember going to waking up one morning in severe pain, and this is another military story. We are so used to actually deciding on what's wrong with ourselves. I forgot the word, diagnosing what's wrong with ourselves. And I woke up one morning and my back was hurting really bad, my lower back, which it hurts anyway. This was a different type of pain. And my son was with me. And I says, hey, kid, will you go with me to the hospital? And because when I went to the bathroom, I noticed that my urine was dark. And I said, uh-oh. And I knew that I hadn't been drinking enough water. But I was in pain. And when we got there, of course they let me come in. They took me into the back room and everything. And the doctor, she came up and she leans over and she whispers, could it be an STD? And I looked at her and I'm like, no. I says, I'm not dating anyone right now. And she goes, well, you don't have to be dating anyone to be messing around and get it. I says, it's not an STD. And I says, I didn't drink enough water. And I says, I'm probably dry, and right now I've got an infection, and so it's probably a kidney infection. And I says, I had one before when I was like 14, to be out humping around, so I remember what it was like. And she goes, okay, well, we're going to draw your blood and have you pee in a jar and we'll see. And so they drew my blood, had me pee in a jar. And then I knew when she got the report back from the lab, because I saw her looking at it, and then she called other people over. And she was looking at that thing. And then she tears the thing open, tears the sheet off, and she comes walking over to me, and she says, "Could have fooled me. You were right, 100% right." And she says, "You diagnosed yourself." And I said, "Well, I do have a medical degree." And she goes, "Oh, why didn't you say that in the beginning?" I says, "No, that's not what's supposed to happen. And she was laughing about it. And she says, "Okay, I'll give you some of this to numb you down there and give you some antibiotics. And I want you to start drinking lots of water." And I says, "Okay, thank you so much." And I had to tell her that once before when I had a kidney stone, and that was years and years ago. I was on a flight status as a non-crew member with the unit I was in, and they put me on a medication they call it morphine's little sister. And I got back on the ramp of this helicopter and we took off. I says, "We got to land." And they were like, "Why?" And I says, "Because the sky is really blue and the trees are really green." And they knew something was wrong. And what happened was the doctor forgot to ground me. So he turned the helicopter around and came in and landed. And then they called for my medical record, and sure enough, they had put me on this medication. I can't even think of the name of it now. I'd have to look it up. But they called it morphine's little sister, and I was higher than a kite. And that's because I was in so much pain, and I had a kidney stone. And they actually, in the machine that shatters the kidney stones in Portsmouth, was broken, so they went in and physically removed the kidney stone. And that was rough. And they gave me this medication called Dolabid, and I was told that I couldn't eat 20 or 12 hours before I came in. And when I went in there, the girl behind the counter says, "You're mighty brave," and that right then told me something. Yeah, it was painful for them to do it, but then they gave me the Dolabid, and then on the way back, my wife and I stopped at the exchange, and we had a sandwich and everything else, and I went into the bathroom because I had to pee, and oh man, I almost doubled over, and there was a corpsman in there. He said, "You need to go see the choir." I said, "You're the guys who started this in the first place." Oh, and then we got home, and this was kind of wild, because I took the medication and probably maybe 45 minutes to an hour later, I've got to pee. So I go into the bathroom and I'm like, honey, you got to come here and see this." And she comes rushing into the bathroom. What? And I says, "Watch this." And when I peed, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not joking, my pee was this color. Blue as blue can be. And that was the Dolabid. They forgot to tell me that it would do that. But anyway, that was just another story that was kind of funny and it happened. Once you're in the service for so long, you get all kinds of crazy stories. Okay, so I'm going to let this go for 4 hours, and I'm going to go kick back and, I don't know, watch something dysfunctional people on Jerry Springer or something. And I'll get back to you and we'll see how it does in 4 hours. And then if it doesn't do good in 4 hours, we'll give it 6 hours. And after 6 hours, we'll give it 8 hours. Okay? Talk to you later.
It finished at 1:30 a.m., which was 4 hours. Exactly. And I heard it turn itself off, and I got up and I had to check. And we got jerky. And I have to admit, I did taste it. It's spicy, like I said it would be. And it has my original flavor on it. But it's not too spicy. It doesn't overwhelm the beef jerky. What I'm doing is, of course, putting this in a baggie so I can save it. If I wanted to go save it extra long time, I'd probably put it in the vacuum sealer. But it is perfectly dried. And it looks like it's perfectly, well, pretty clean actually. Now then, right down here, I have a scale. That was a 3.02, a 3 pound, 0.02 ounce butt. Okay, shall we see? And there you have it. .3 ounces. That was a lot of liquid. And I guess now you know why beef jerky costs so much. So anyway, that was the Presto Dehydro, and it works. As I said before, my other one was quieter, but it took all day. You know, it took like 24 hours or so for it to dehydrate the meat. And this did it in 4 hours, just like it said it would in the instructions. And it said to start checking at 3.5 hours. But being up at 5,000 feet, I tend to let things go a little bit longer, because even meats, when you cook meats, it's hard to what am I trying to say? If you're cooking meats, and normally you cook, say, when you're down at sea level, and you normally cook meats at something that would take you, I don't know, say some sliced chicken breast, and say they take with bone, no bone, take about 45 minutes. I have all these in my head. Don't ask me why, but I do. And then I get up here, I find that I have to cook it for an hour. And the only thing I can attribute that to is the elevation. We're at 5,000 feet, 5,000 plus feet here. And I also remember when I went to cold weather training to become an Arctic fox. Yes, I did. In Bridgeport. Back then we had sea rats in the can. And I can remember being at home in Oceanside, which is right at sea level, and if we took something out of the freezer, or I know at one time I froze some sea rats because I did it as a joke. We had a guy that used to come over and he would eat everything. Everything. He would come over and he would find something to eat. And so I put a box of sea rats in the freezer, just joking to see if he would find it. Sure enough, he did, and it was frozen. And it took probably maybe an hour and a half or two to thaw. And then we went up, we went to Bridgeport, Pickle Meadows, for cold weather training, and we had our sea rats, and it would take about, let's put it this way, a lot longer. Of course, we were at 15,000 feet, and it was, I think, 17 degrees Fahrenheit, but it took a lot longer. It took almost, even if you used the heat tab, you'd probably use 3 of those to melt 1 can. And, you know, you could lay them out in the sun and everything. It'd take a good half a day or more to thaw your sea rats out, and we learned to start packing them next to our body to keep them thawed out. So anyway, it depends on your elevation where you're at is how things are going to work. This is a good food dehydrator. I give it 2 thumbs up. Anyway, if y'all learned anything or like my video, please leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment if you want to, and also subscribe and hit that bell so that you'll know when the next video comes out. I enjoy doing these videos. They're fun, and I don't get paid for them, but you know, I enjoy doing it. If I got paid, it'd be nice. I do have a Patreon if y'all want it. So anyway, if you're in a warm place, go to the beach, go swimming. If you're in a cold place, stay warm, and always stay safe. Love you guys. Have a good one.